been, I guess, interested in kind of education, learning, knowing more, just curiosity. Questions never stop. I've heard that like you need to stop asking questions, but I just could never stop asking questions. So I guess that was a part of the motivation in continuing to learn. And then I think when I came to this country first, I wanted to go in a different direction as far as education goes, but that was not possible. And then life happened, children, my son happened, and then trying to kind of make sure that as a mom, how can I best meet his needs and how can I best provide the stimulation that he needs, kind of led me into childcare. And that led me into TCC because I wanted to know more about the research behind why am I doing what I'm doing and what I'm not doing that I should be doing, and so on and so forth. And so I started applying what I was learning in TCC as he was a young baby into my nurturing and care with him at home. So I was like a teacher mom and both. And so that kind of continued on to where I started volunteering at his preschool. And then I ended up teaching there for about 10 or 12 years. I took a break for a few years. And then finally I was like, no, it kept at the back of my mind that I wanted to continue. It felt like I had not finished something. And I just wanted to continue on and know like, what could I be doing more? And what's the research behind like how children learn? So that led me to OU, which is a great program because TCC bridges on to OU through the George Kaiser Foundation. And that helps a lot with like, they encourage a lot, they give you a lot of resources, and they also pay for the education, which means it's not a financial drain on your resources. So that was a big motivation for me to continue as well. And I went there, I continued. It was grueling. Oh my gosh, trying to work full time and take care of family and still maintain grades and study and learn. But it did it. 2 years ago, it was done.
Higher education overall, personally, it kind of has taught me to set goals for myself, not only academically, but I mean, like, I'm also becoming a real adult and citizen, of this area. So I think that for me, it's like I'm setting goals for myself. I'm teaching myself like how to function and work with my degree, and also just kind of hold myself to a higher standard. I think not only as a student, but as a citizen as well.
I eventually want to get into post-grad education. I want to eventually pursue my PhD. And I am eyeing neuropsychology as like my focus. And that I think is what excites me, because at Langston, I feel like I've been giving enough tools to make an easier transition, especially through several mentors I have at Langston who have worked hand in hand with neuropsych and neurocognition and all these types of different studies and these different focuses. And it's a lot easier for me to actually transition to these things just through the connections I've made through Langston. And so I'm really excited about being able to go into that higher level. And I feel like Langston and TCC in itself has made me ready.
I do want to actually kind of delve into music therapy as well, which would be really cool. But either way, education, therapy, whichever way I decide to go, I've always had a love of serving others and helping others. And so I really think, don't get me wrong, an education is a hefty degree. So I know a lot of times it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm so tired. This is crazy. But I just need to remind myself, like, I'm doing this because I want to help people, whether it's in the classroom or again, in a therapy session, something. I love helping others. And so for me, it's definitely, I hope to serve others before me.
Through my whole experience at TCC and Rogers, was great. I had amazing professors who supported all of us. And then during the time of my mom being sick and after her passing, I was at Rogers specifically, they were just so supportive. I would step out of class because I would be hit with emotions of losing my mom, or thinking about what we had to do when she was still alive. Like, oh, well, we have to go to radiation after this. And I took her to all of her radiation appointments. And it was just so many things. And so I just was so grateful for that, I guess, that support that I had, not just academically, but like personally, that they saw that there was a student that was struggling with so many things, and they did everything they could to understand it and to make it as easy as possible for me to graduate. The reason I wanted to, one of the huge reasons I want to be a nurse is because I just remember how much nurses took care of my mom whenever she was sick, and the impact that they made on our lives and our journey through such a horrific time in our lives, and so that's like one of the huge reasons that I want to become a nurse, because I want to be able to do that for other families.
I want to become a neurosurgeon. That's the goal. That's what I want. The reason for it is because I had a back injury when I was a gymnast back in the day, and it made me have to quit. And a lot of people didn't know what was wrong with my back because medicine in Peru isn't um, as good as it should be. So I was seen as a girl who just complained too much, and I don't want anyone to go through that. So I want to be the doctor who can help others find solutions. On top of that, my grandma passed away because of a brain tumor, and they didn't find a way to help her soon enough, which made me just want to figure out a way to help people who are going through that as well. My goal is to become a neurosurgeon, and eventually one day be able to go to Peru and have like an office there to where people can reach to me and be like, I don't know what to do, and I can help them there. Even though I would like to still be a doctor here, having been there before, it's like it just gives me a broad perspective of how things can be improved. So I feel like being a doctor will help me help others, which is my goal. I will say I always wanted to be a doctor. So it's just, I feel with every year, every semester, every class that I take, I'm getting closer to what I want to be, which is one of my goals as a person have been to become a doctor and to become a gymnast. So I'm not a gymnast any longer, but I'm a coach. And my being a doctor is like the one dream I still am able to achieve. And every class gets me closer to it, every test I take. And that's something I am really excited about because I've been told, like I said before, by many people that I won't be able to do it. And I feel like even where I'm right now, like getting my bachelor's right now, that's something I never expected to happen. And it makes me feel like, man, I'm doing what I want to do, even though it's been so hard. And yes, it just makes me, it's just, I see my career as every little achievement. I celebrate every little thing because I know I'm probably not supposed to be where I'm at right now. And every every single time I'm able to say, yeah, I did it. It's just the best feeling ever. And that's what I look forward to. Like, I want to be able to say, yes, I did it. I became a doctor and you can do it too.
I have clients that come in all the time who are like, well, I want to do this, but I don't have enough money. Until they realize that OKDRS will assist them in their educational goals. And then they're like, oh my goodness. And I always ask clients, what is something that you've always wanted to do, but you felt like you weren't able to do? And a lot of times, all of their goals and their dreams are locked behind these like monetary barriers. Because there's a lot of brilliant people I've seen here who feel like their last resort, is something completely different than what they're capable of achieving. And I feel like we're holding back and keeping away a lot of brilliant minds that could possibly shape this country's future. And I think that's kind of something I really feel strongly about, because that's what made me drive a forklift, was the fact that I can't afford to go back to school. And then, I had to break my back to get educational assistance. And so, monetary assistance with it. And so I kind of feel like, yeah, that's something that we definitely take a different look at. I feel like universities in themselves, if they all were to speak up about these types of things, to change how it would be, for the rest of us, because That's what matters. Education. It really does.
Not that I didn't love my career before in my 20s, but truly being able to walk out of school in May and get a job and be doing what I feel like I was put on this earth to do, even though it was a roundabout way and there were like valleys and there were roadblocks and all other kinds of things. It was made possible because of higher education. It was, nobody can take your education away from you. Nobody can do that. When you have an education, like, you have set not just yourself up, but your family and everybody else up for success, and I feel like I'm walking out with all the resources that I could possibly have to be a successful nurse and do something that I just love doing.